Beats Planet.
Yo, listen. We back at it again with another banger here for y'all today. 100%. We have some Voch Lombardi live for y'all. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We are here to talk a little bit of Cowboy stuff and to go over some NFL draft notes. We're winding down. We slowly but surely got the draft right around the corner. This next week is like 10, 7, 6 some days or whatever. So, hey, I need to really grind these next few days to make sure that y'all getting the draft information that y'all desire. You know what I mean? So today we're going to be looking at my wide receivers list. I got a top 10 and a top 15. I don't know which one Will still got, but we'll just bounce off of that. But I'm ready to explain the entire thing today. If y'all have any discrepancies, you can go to my chat box and tell me that I'm full of it, or you can call into my show 202-926-1127, access code 309-104. Stephen Jones went on 105.3 The Fan and made a little bit of some he made some comments. he made some comments, and Cowboy Nation don't like it at all. I got about 6 or so clips pulled up. We'll take a listen to what Stephen Jones had to say. We'll give a good reaction to it. We'll let y'all run some phones. We'll do some chat box and get the hell up out of here. I'm Voch Lombardi, by the way. Nice to meet you. Shake my hand. I'm being point guarded today by the best in the business. Will Still, what's good?
It's your boy.
What's good? Will Still, aka Skywalker Still. What's up, man?
AKA Skywalker Still, boy. I keep letting you slide, man. I keep, passing on. I keep passing on the intros, man, because I just keep forgetting because I'm just, I'm so last minute. But bro, you can't just keep upstanding me on the intros like that.
Hey,
sir.
dog.
That ain't right.
It's your boy.
Basically, fuck 'em.
Just like that, straight up. All right, so let's see who's in the chat, who's holding us down. I'm just so proud of my chat right now. Let me just give a little war call right now. Just this is for you guys right now. Boom. This is for you. we have more likes and more concurrent viewers on the volume side than we do on the Voch Lombardi side. I'm grateful. It ain't gonna stay that way, but towards the end of the show, I'll be saying this again. We're streaming on both platforms right now just to get everybody acclimated to the move. We're doing this for the rest of April, so even the live draft show will be live on both channels. But starting in May, our first show in May, live streams will exclusively be on the volume. So y'all make sure y'all go to the search bar on YouTube. Go to the search bar, type in the volume, and you'll see all of our stuff up there. You'll see some of our co-workers up there. You ain't got to hit the notification bell because we go live at 3 p.m. Central, Monday through Friday. All right. Will, still you good? Have I checked on you today? Have I said what's up? You okay?
Yeah, we straight, man. We straight. I'm still cracking up off of the intro, but we good.
Yeah, we good to go, man. We good to go. Chat box is constantly like every day like checking us. Like, yo, Voch, why y'all 30 seconds late? Why y'all 5 minutes? Oh, we starting at 3:10 today. I'm just slowly but surely letting y'all get y'all's,
Hey, blame me.
check. Today is my fault. Yesterday was Will's fault. Today it was my fault. I wanted to get this Stephen Jones information pulled up. Let's go ahead and get into that. Let's boogie for a little while. So Stephen Jones, he normally makes an appearance on 105.3 The Fan, and here on this show, we're gonna take all the opportunities to dissect what he's saying, even when Jerry goes live. We ain't gonna be doing too many like Mike McCarthy interviews and nothing like that because I don't really care what Mike McCarthy has to say. But if it's something interesting, we definitely gonna be talking Dan Quinn. I love Dan's interviews.
Yeah.
But Stephen called into the radio station, the KNC Masterpiece. Shouts out to them over there at 105.3. They were asking some Kelvin Joseph questions. They were asking draft questions. This question in particular, they were saying, does the Kelvin Joseph investigation or him being in some spotlight there, does that affect how we're gonna be looking at drafting corners and DBs? And here's what he had to say.
We are always into taking the best player on our board, as you know, and not unlike we did with CD. We took the best player there when we weren't necessarily needing a wide receiver. So, we try to have the depth, have what we need on our roster going into the draft, so that we're not affected by being able to take the best player on the board.
We got word that.
So we're not gonna listen to what they got to say. So just we not. So hey, look, shouts out to them. There's some cowboy content partners of our. We all do cowboy, but we ain't listening to what they got to say. So basically, Steven said what we've been saying this whole time. Like, even if Kelvin Joseph were to be in like super big trouble, it's not going to affect how we're going to look at the draft in the large scheme of things, because first and foremost, the front office, the coaches, they really like what they have in Anthony Brown. Like, Cowboy fans may not like it, but the front office, the coaches, especially Dan Quinn, they like what they have in Anthony Brown. Jordan Lewis come in and do nickel things. Dan was a guy that stood on the table for Nashawn Wright. So if we were to lose Kelvin, I think the draft still kind of goes in the same way that we've always said that it's going to go. We'll look at it and be like, okay, well, who's the best player? And the best player will probably be the first round guy. And then you'll take second, third, all our fourth and fifth round picks, and we'll address some of the spots that we didn't address in the first. Will, did you have something on that?
No, I was just going to pull up the depth chart at the cornerback position. And you got J. Lou, you got Trevin Diggs, Nashawn Wright, Maurice Kennedy apparently is still on the team, Anthony Brown, and Kelvin Joseph. So, I think they got guys that they okay with if Kelvin Joseph is out. They're okay with. I'm not saying y'all got to be okay with it. I'm just saying I think they feel fine and not having to jump at the cornerback spot the first 2-3 rounds.
Plus two, we can't be phony as Cowboy fans, because there was a point in the season last year where we were like, hey, let's get candidates some work. Let's pick Canada. Like, Canada had a fantastic camp last year. So we just can't, just because he didn't play very much last year, we just can't erase how we felt about it. You know what I mean? We just can't erase what we felt about Canada. So if Canada wants to go and compete at the nickel with Jordan Lewis, we still feel relatively fine about Canada. It's just that, he's Canada. He's not a name that we associate with draft value and things like that. They then asked him about character grades and how much character grades weigh on a player's draft profile. Let's see.
Well, I think it's huge. I mean, you go into that with every player, and you certainly give grades on their character risk. and we go in depth. I would say, at least 25% of the report is based on the guy's character, football character, personal character, on and off the field, all the things that go into the makeup of what a football player is going to be like and what you project him to be like when he gets into the NFL. But it's certainly a big part of the evaluation process when we're taking a look at how he will fit in for the Dallas Cowboys, what we project him to be like, both on and off the field, and certainly a big part of the evaluation.
So, Will, still, is 25%? Is that enough when because you sick of it? You're over problem characters, right? Is 25% enough to be like, all right, that's enough to be looking at character? Should character be bigger in the evaluation? Will, still?
I just think more homework needs to be done. I know I can say that as a fan from sitting
And I'm
back
only
here.
asking you this. I'm only asking you because just yesterday you said you were sick of the problem guy. So just what should that percentage be? Like personality wise.
I don't got a number for you, but what I will say is this: if you got a guy like, and I'm going to use this example because it would just happen last year, Asante Samuel Jr., and you got Kelvin Joseph on the board,
Sure.
I think character concerns are enough to say I'm going to go with. I mean, some people don't believe he was surefire, but I'm going to go with the pedigree. I'm going to go with the history. I'm going to go with this guy because I don't think many view those players that far apart now. I mean, I know some people had Kelvin in round 1, but some people also had Asante Samuel high in round 2. Sure. So, I would look at it as, listen, we've taken chances. I'm going to go with the short thing here. I want to get a guy I can count on next to Diggs for the next 4 years. So it's a case-by-case basis. I ain't going to put a number on it because it all depends on that situation. Like you said yesterday, I love that example.
I just want to free myself from all responsibility here because there was a lot of people that look right at me like, well, Voch, you wanted Kelvin Joseph. I can only watch film. There was no indication that Kelvin Joseph was going to get into any trouble. I'm only looking at the player versus the player. Just like my whole like Malik McDowell's better than Solomon Thomas take or whatever. Malik's still better than Solomon Thomas. Malik just got in trouble. You know what I mean? So I can't account for the off the field stuff, but they got private investigators and shit like that. They do their due diligence on these players, but just they took a quick detour off the draft and they asked Stephen Jones, well, but Stephen, the Rams spend big money and win Super Bowls. Why can't we be like the Rams? Why do we have to look so far into the future? That's what he says.
I think if we see the player that makes the difference in terms of whether we're going to win or lose games, then we're all in on stretching in terms of the salary cap and making something work. I think at the end of the day, when you look at our team last year, we came up short. And although we have some really good football players, from a perception standpoint, we have to make the decision, in collaboration with our coaching staff, in collaboration with our personnel staff, is that good value for your cap dollars? And
that boy be talking in circles. You just got me ticked off. But go ahead.
Is Bobby Wagner not good enough to affect wins and losses here? That's basically what he's saying.
I mean, like what, Stephen?
I know y'all hate Steve, boy. Y'all can't stand Steve, boy. But what he's saying is, hey man, if you're not contributing, like if we felt like you were a player that contributes to the grand scheme of wins and losses, we'll give you a little money,
bro. I don't mean to laugh, bro. But Von Miller literally just helped a team win the Super Bowl.
We'll still hate it. Put yourself on camera, Will. Go ahead, talk that shit.
I got it out. I spaz out when it comes to this because it pisses me off, man. We don't use the other levels of team building, in my opinion, the correct way. I don't mind when you use the word cheap. I just don't think we're smart.
Sure.
I don't think we're smart in free agency, and you have to use free agency and the drafts and trades on top of the drafts to win long term in this league and eventually win a damn Super Bowl. They're so arrogant when it comes to this draft. They feel like, we don't need that.
Sure. Sure. I got half of y'all tuned in on the Vice side, half of y'all tuned in on the volume side. Appreciate everybody that's came in late. Come on in class. Come on in class. Go ahead and have a seat. Take out your notebooks. Same old that we doing. We're talking about Stephen Jones and his interview that he did today on 105.3. After this, we're gonna be doing wide receiver rankings. We're breaking down my wide receiver rank. So be sure you stay tapped in. If you want to call into the show, number call in is 202-926-1127, access code 3. Yes, so access code 309-104 if you want to call into the show. We would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on Stephen Jones and my wide receiver ranking list. So go ahead and get your spot in line. Next up here, they were asking about the depth on the Cowboys. Steven, what do you feel better about, your O-line depth or your wide receiver depth? Because this question is trying to get him to kind of lean towards which way. If you feel good about your wide receiver depth, would you be drafting O-line? If you feel good about your O-line depth, would you be drafting wide receiver?
All the above, if the truth be known. I mean, you look at what happened last year. Certainly, Tyron Smith missed games. You had the pandemic situation where Zach missed a game. I mean, the year before we had, a handful of injuries that, really put us in a tough situation. And at the same time, you look at receivers and, we had guys missing games there as well. But obviously, Gallup missed quite a bit. CD missed from a concussion standpoint, and then certainly Amari did from a COVID standpoint. So, in the right situation, you want to be able to have guys step up, and you need depth in all areas, whether it's via the draft or free agency.
Will, still, do you have something you want to say to Stephen Jones?
Yeah.
I just hear you scoffing at his remarks.
Where the answer? Yo, are you triggering me with this? Like, seriously, he pulled a Daryl Shapp on us. Steven, what do you like better? You like?
Let me tell you what I like. I'm gonna tell you right now, because I watched the Law Nation show. I watched Voch Lombardi. I put my shoes on to watch Foster King. Let me tell you. Let me answer this question. Hey man, we like both. Yeah, so I was.
I can't stand listening. So I'd rather listen to Will McClay. Seriously.
It's so interesting, man, because I be listening to Space Cowboy. He really want to fight him. Like, he want to put hands on Steve.
Yeah,
Jones.
Space don't play.
He want to invite him to hands and feet. We got one last question, then we're gonna move on from Stephen Jones and go into my wide receiver ranking. I lost it. Damn, I deleted it. But whatever. Stephen Jones, I was just hitting buttons.
Good, because I might have flipped my table if I had to listen to him any goddamn on more. I was listening to that live and I was getting pissed off. Watch.
Stephen Jones, I just up and just deleted my notes right there. Hilarious. Stephen Jones asked Stephen about something. What they asked Stephen Jones?
I just think you do have a feel in terms of the historic
they asked him about trading down
values that it takes to move up certain spots. And certainly, in the first round, in particular, to move up, you're going to be giving up, a really good football player. You're going to be going, one player for two. So it's got to be worth it. There's certainly players that we're very interested in.
That's what I think the biggest takeaway was, that there are players that he's very interested in. And of course, we think that may be Charles Cross. Drake London was a 30 visit. Jordan Davis was one of those guys also. I think that they like him also. I hope we're not trading up for the likes of like a guy like Devin Lloyd or anything like that. But those are some of the names that we've seen on the 30 list that don't necessarily fit where we're drafting in the 30 list. So I feel like if they got players that they would trade up for, I would only imagine that the reason that they would trade up to go get him is if they're falling in the draft a little bit. You can't hate what he's saying right there, because we agree with that, Will. Still, come on.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes he says competent things, but I can care less about. You know how you can care less about what McCarthy got to say?
Yeah,
I can give a damn anymore about what Jerry and Steven got to say. It used to didn't be that way. I used to didn't care what Jerry had to say. Now listen to Steven a little bit, but over the years, Steven just lying through his damn teeth and don't know what the hell he been not knowing what he's doing. But he just getting worse and worse in front of that camera.
I like to listen to Jerry. Like, Jerry will at least have a good story, or like some funny, something funny going on. But Steven is just, especially this offseason, Steven just kind of hurt your soul, man. So that is what that is. But that's all we got on that. Now we're gonna break down my my wide receivers list. And all of my lists, anytime I put a list together and put it out, like my top 50 boards coming soon also. Like that's gonna be something that riles up everybody in the streets. I got a mock draft coming, and I expect people to hate my mock draft because I do things in my mock draft that others don't do in theirs, like account for the idea that the Raiders suck at drafting, or that Green Bay might do something weird, or that the Eagles may do something weird. So my my mock's gonna be interesting when it does come out. But right now we're talking about my top 15 wide receivers, and of course, if y'all want to call into the show to disagree with me, the numbers at the bottom of the screen. You can feel free to get your. It was. Don't worry about it. Ain't got to be no more. It's at the. Fuck that phone. It was at the bottom of the screen. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and
I'll put it in the chat.
Right, you good, bro? I'll go ahead and maximize this. Let's get started. Let's boogie a little bit. Let's boogie a little bit. So as I take a sip of water and play my war call. Are you floor guy or are you ceiling guy? I think when you break down any list of yours and you put together any of these lists, you have to ask yourself, are you floor guy or are you ceiling guy? Because that's going to lead you into consistency. Like that's your standard, and you can't have consistency without a standard. That's my standard, is that I love a high floor, and if you can give me some ceiling, let's book it. Garrett Wilson is my number one receiver this year because he's 100% flat out, straight up and down, high floor guy. And how do you become high floor guy in the National Football League playing wide receiver? Gotta run some routes, man. If you can run routes and create separation on your own, that's magical. That's magical in the National Football League. And that's why a lot of these guys are on this list, is because they create separation by themselves, or they have a skill that puts somebody over somebody else. When I look at Jameson Williams, he gets separation in a different kind of way than Garrett does. He's not the route runner that Garrett is, but Jameson has this explosive element, and then he's sort of a pretty good route runner. But that explosion aids in his route running. I wouldn't call Garrett the same type of explosive that Jameson is. Garrett is more quick, and I also favor quick guys. It's hard to defend quick. To defend explosion, you just kind of got to know where that straight line is going to go. But Jameson does have quickness, but Garrett is just so smooth with it. Like you see this image of Amari Cooper when you watch him run these routes. These guys that can run a slant 5 different ways, Garrett Wilson is one of those guys. Plus he got some yak ability. Plus he can catch the football. Like I'm a big fan of Garrett Wilson. And if Jameson Williams didn't get hurt, I think if people had Jameson as their number one receiver, I wouldn't hate it. If somebody got Jameson Williams as their number one receiver now, I wouldn't hate it because of his explosion, because of his playmaking, and he gives you a little bit of route running. My next four picks, right? What kind of separates these guys is consistency, just being able to do more, me seeing you do more, and having seen you do it. I'm not the biggest type of fan. I'm not the biggest fan of the type of receiver that Drake London is, the bigger guy. But Drake London's still kind of smooth. He snatched the football out of the air. He does those big guy jump ball things. When you look at his game logs, his USC game logs, they feed him the football. He'll have like 20 targets, 15 catches, for like 150 some yards. But I don't want to just make that stat or that number a part of his sole evaluation, because they got him running a lot of screens, and I don't think you're going to run a lot of screens with Drake London in the league. You're going to ask him to be a bigger guy. They run jet sweeps with Drake London, but you're not going to ask Drake London to run jet sweeps in the league. But he can do it. Is he a fluid route runner? I wouldn't say that. Is he, does he get separation? He gets separation with his body. But he doesn't get, he doesn't get route running separation or explosive separation. But he does have some nuance. He is a polished receiver with a big frame. The reason I have him over Chris Olave is because I think he does more than Chris. Now, Chris can do the underneath things for sure, but he really makes money running past people. but I don't want to just label him as a run past you guy, like a Henry Ruggs guy, or like one of these what's my John Ross type characters where all he does is just run past people. He's not that guy necessarily. Olave still shows great hands. He still snatches footballs out of there. He actually has a lot of sideline contested catches or whatever. Will Steele is amazing. He actually has some sideline like contested catches where like, okay, you don't expect the speed he got to catch passes like this, but he actually has some pretty good hands, pretty good ball skills. But how often does he get to use them? And when you see him use them, it's normally on the sideline where he manufactures a little bit of space throughout his offense. But Olave's main job is running past people. That's his job. If he had more of a polish on him, maybe I would have liked him a little better than Drake London. Drake London just knows how to be a polished big wide receiver one. I don't think Olave is that. I think Olave is more of a complementary player to another number one guy. So that's why he's 4. George Pickens is interesting though. George Pickens. George Pickens, if he didn't get injured and he just did it a lot more. I say on the show all the time, man, when you watch a film on George Pickens, you really only got a handful of plays that you can really evaluate. He probably got about 5-6 plays 5-6 games, which is about 113 snaps or something like that, maybe 50 targets. But of those games, you really got to put your thinking cap on and you got to focus and you got to look at George Pickens and be like, hey, we only got limited film here. I may not never see you do this again, but I got to look at you and see that you did it and then project. I see a lot of people that say George Pickens isn't a very quick or explosive player. He may not be the most quick or explosive player, but if you find the plays, you just skim through the plays, you dig through them records, and you just find it, you can see him being very sudden for his size, like 6'3", 210 or something. He's very sudden. He has these plays where he can run past people, where he explodes, where he's a yak guy. Size is incredible. Movement is incredible. Is he the most nuanced route runner in this class? No, but can he run routes? Sure. If you can run routes and get your own separation as a bigger player, you get points. The only reason he's not ranked over Olave and Drake London and Jameson and Garrett is because he hadn't done it very much. But we got to talk about the dudes at the bottom of this list, because 9 times out of 10, whoever's going to be the best receiver on this list depends on where they go. That's the unfortunate part.
Yeah.
So if Matt Ryan is gone and Garrett Wilson goes to Atlanta, you can't look at me and be like, well, Voch, George Pickens with Aaron Rodgers is doing better with Garrett Wilson, with whoever the hell going to be playing quarterback at, the Falcons or whatever. You can't look at me and make an honest assessment of that. Whoever goes to Kansas City, they might be the guy, or like Green Bay, they may be the best receiver in this class production wise based on that. And George Pickens really didn't even have the best quarterback in college neither. But if that dude would have just done it more, like if he didn't get hurt and he put out like another 11 games like worth of fire, you know what I mean? Just 11 more games, 12 more games, he'll probably be like my number 2 guy, my number 2 or number 3 guy. Go ahead.
I think Pickens has immense upside to be a wide receiver. I think a wide receiver one. I think he can handle that type of pressure and that type of target share as well. So, I like Pickens here in your top 5. I do. Even though I like Traylon Burks and Jahan Dotson and Sky Moore, I do like Pickens here.
There's a lot of receivers in this class, man.
Yes.
And like I said, it just depends. And look, just Cowboy Nation too. And this is for whoever's listening right now, because I'm sure there's like some Ravens fans, Eagles fans. Whoever you are on the volume and you're tuning in, you just want to get an idea for your team. George Pickens may not be there for your second round pick. Like if he makes it to the 40s, I think that's far. If he makes it, like if he's like a mid 30s at the least, kind of sort of, you know what I mean? But if you Cowboys and you're not drafting him at 24, you might not get him. He's not going to be there at 56. It's going to take the league to do some bad drafting for this dude to get to 56.
Well, he's got potential to be, Terry McLaurin, Metcalf, Cooper. They all went day 2.
Sure.
These are guys right now we look at as, high-end wide receivers. So, it's not, It wouldn't shock me because teams can't draft, like you said.
100%, Mr. Wolf. I was in a Twitter space the other day. Shouts out to our guy Nix. Um, and there was somebody that had a comment on his Twitter space, and the person that was saying that they didn't like the idea that we were saying that there's 15 or 17 or so wide receivers that they feel like can come in and play right now. And I disagree. I think everybody on this list is, especially from a Cowboys perspective. Like if you went to if you went somewhere and you had to be the wide receiver one, I don't think Olave would be like a wide receiver one for you day one. I don't think Traylon Burks would be a wide receiver one for you. But if you're the Cowboys and you got two receivers and you're looking for a third, either one of these guys will fit just fine as your third guy. Traylon Burks. So just because Traylon Burks is not in my top five don't mean that I hate him. It's just that wide receiver is deep this year. And there's a very chicken or the egg question when we watch Arkansas's offense, right? Is Traylon Burks lined up in the slot and asked to do simple things because Traylon Burks is limited as a wide receiver, or is it because the quarterback is limited as a quarterback? When you watch Traylon Burks, when you watch his film, you're basically going to see a guy that's either doing gadgety stuff or he's going to do like a 50-50 ball thing, right? He's his deep 50-50 ball, or he's going to be like, we're going to do, throw the ball to me in the flats. Give me the ball at running back. Give me the ball on the screen. Give me the ball on a hitch. He doesn't have the biggest route tree, but we're in a different age in football now. So now we don't just look at a guy and be like, okay, what are his Calvin Johnson traits? Once upon a time in the league, you had to have Calvin Johnson traits. You had to be 6'5", can run, and can catch. Nowadays, we don't look at that. We look at more so what can you do as opposed to what don't you do. That's why Deebo Samuel can be a guy in this league. So if you're Traylon Burks, if you have him on your team, you're not asking him to do super nuanced things with routes. You're not asking him to run post corners. You're not asking him to do a bunch of weird stuff. You're asking him to basically get short passes and not get tackled. You're asking him to get the ball and make something happen. Turn my 5-yard completion into a 10, 11, 15-yard play. That's what you're asking of Traylon Burks. And can he do it? 100%. It's just that he's not as complete as the guys ahead of him. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to be a complete player, and just because you're not a complete player doesn't mean you're going to be a bad player. Whether you're a productive player in the league or not depends on your situation and production. He might be fantasy football champ. He might win you a championship depending on where he goes. It's just that when I'm ranking wide receivers on my list, I got to consider the floor, I got to consider the ceiling, and I got to consider, are you complete right now? Jahan Dotson is a guy that's more technical than Traylon Burks, but he's a little further down my list because I think Traylon Burks does more than Jahan Dotson. If Traylon Burks was in my offense, I know exactly what I can do with him. And there's a lot of things I can do with Traylon Burks. I could do less things with Burks than I would Olave, but I could do more things with Burks than I can do Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson is, in my opinion, he's clearly going to be like a number 2 wide receiver guy. I can see Traylon Burks being the center of somebody's offense. Maybe not wide receiver one traditionally, but like Deebo is, right? Not saying that they're the same player, but I can see someone taking what they do in San Francisco, looking at Traylon Burks and go, okay, we just get you the ball and let you do yak things, you'll be fine. I can use Traylon Burks more ways than I can use Jahan Dotson. I don't see Jahan Dotson as a guy that could be a centerpiece of your offense, but as a guy that could be a number 2 receiver, run great routes, get separation, and be a fantastic contributor for you. I can definitely see Jahan Dotson being one of them guys. Sky Moore is interesting. Sky Moore is interesting because when you watch his tape, you kind of look at it and go, all right, am I missing something? You know what I mean? Because if you just write down all the things that Sky Moore does, right? If you just write the things down, he runs routes, he catches everything, he's hard to tackle. That's what you want. That's what you're looking for as a wide receiver. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? Those 3 things. Can you run, can you run routes? Can you catch the ball? Can you not get tackled? Sky Moore is a beast at all those things. And a part of me wants to not be phony and put him ahead of Jahan Dotson. A part of me wants to be phony. But I think Jahan Dotson gives you a little more value because he can do more outside things than Sky Moore. Jahan Dotson can work outside and inside. Traylon Burks, Pickens, Olave. You could probably put London in a slot, but Williams, Wilson, in terms of what you do for your offense, I can see all those players in multiple spots. Jahan Dotson, Sky Moore is only playing slot for me, but he can be the best slot receiver in the league. To be fair, I think he's a pure slot receiver. That don't make him a bad player. That's just what I think that's what I think he is in his role in the offense. So you got to ask yourself, how high do you draft a pure slot receiver? I think it's interesting,
In this
Also, like think
in
about
this day and age,
Sure, 100%. And look, that's the question. We saw Jalen Ramsey play a lot more nickel corner last year. When Jalen Ramsey comes out in the draft, he can be talented, but if he says, "Look, I'm only a nickel corner," how high do you draft that dude? You see what I'm saying? What you think about that, Will? Still far moving.
I would say it's a bit different corner wise because they're not getting the ball per se. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like there's tangible evidence in regards to stats for corners, but I could be a slot receiver and get 85 catches, 8 touchdowns, and 900 to 1,100 yards, and that is an impact. You know what I'm saying? So I think it all depends on your offense, your style. Do you value the slot receiver in that way? I'm just speaking on the Cowboys. I don't know that the Cowboys do that, and I know it sounds funny because Lamb was in the slot,
Sure.
but do they value it in that manner? I don't know. But you look at a team like Kansas City, or like Jahan Dotson, Sky Moore might eat.
They most definitely gonna eat. I don't know, man. Sky Moore is a fun player, super fun player. Brother Jeff likes him a little more than me. Jeff want to put him outside receiver. I'm like, Jeff, relax, buddy. I like Sky Moore to pieces, man. He's a very polished player, and a part of me feels like I'm being phony having him at 8 because I like all the things that he does. But him being a slot receiver just makes things kind of weird. Y'all can hold me to that. Christian Watson. Let's run down the next 4 or so. Christian Watson, North Dakota State. He kind of came on a little later in the draft process or whatnot, and he's made his bones in the process being about 6'4", I would say, maybe 6'3", 6'4", being 6'4", 215, and can run a 4.3. He's made some money in his combine, pro day type of run or whatever. So people ask me, so Voch, if he's the other big guy in the class or whatever, right? Like when we talk about size guys, we talk about London, Pickens, Burks or whatever. When we talk about Watson, him having size, but Voch, he runs a 4.3. Why isn't he higher than all those other guys? Drake London doesn't run a 4.3. I think Drake London is a lot more polished. I think everybody from 8 up is a lot more polished than Christian Watson. Christian Watson is a fantastic pure athlete. But you know who else was a fantastic big ass can run fast pure athlete? Guys like DK Metcalf. You know what I mean, guys? We can't just look at these guys and be like, oh well, he doesn't run routes, he can't turn, he sucks. Gabriel Davis, when he came out of UCF, he plays with Buffalo now. He was another guy that was like that. He's big, he can run around, wasn't the most polished guy in the world. You just got to ask yourself, how are we going to use these polished guys? If you use Christian Watson in a way that the Seahawks use DK Metcalf, then fine. You know what I mean? But that don't mean we should overdraft him. I think DK Metcalf was drafted properly. He can't turn. It's just that when he gets to the Seahawks, they don't ask him to turn. He runs straight, he get the ball.
Throw that thing up.
Yeah, and they just figure it out. I think you'll have to use that same type of deal with Christian Watson. Christian is if he was to be on my team, I would have a clear plan on how I would use him. I don't think John Mechie has as many plans that you can work into an offense with his skill set than Christian Watson. Even though John Mechie's a very similar type player than Christian Watson. I can add Khalil Shakir and Calvin Austin to that list also. We're talking about guys that when they get the ball, they're yak guys, pretty solid running around. They're playmakers. They turn small plays into bigger plays. They're all guys that can play in the slot, these next few guys. The only reason I got Calvin Watson ranked over them, Christian Watson ranked over them, is because not only is he bigger than them, he does the same kind of yak things that they do, and he's a 4.3 40 faster than all of them. You see what I'm saying? So that's why Watson is up there. Mechie, polished. He's a little more polished than Khalil and Calvin and Jalen Wandell and Justin and all those guys. But Mechie also kind of had the ACL thing. If Mechie was healthy, I still think he'll be in the same place. I don't really make my big boards based on player health and whatnot. So that's just that. Khalil, don't watch his highlight tapes, man. He'll have you thinking he's top 10 overall, but you know, he's another one of those Traylon Burks guys. So if you miss out on Traylon Burks, but you get Khalil, hard to tackle, jump ball, contested catch, deep ball, stuff like that. Hey man, Khalil get busy too, man. If I can get Khalil in the third round and I got whoever the best player was in the first and I fill that offensive line, I'm sleeping well. Calvin Johnson's little bitty. He's about 5'7".
Austin.
What I said?
Calvin Johnson.
Austin, know what I said?
You know
Calvin
he ain't
Austin,
little bitty.
He ain't little bitty. Calvin Austin III from Memphis. Little bitty dude, went to the combine, ran a 4.3, you know, gadgety player. You know, pretty fun dude. I ain't got to touch on him too long, but you know, he's one of my pet cats, super explosive. Also, he had like 9 kick returns for like a touchdown or something like that. And you know, Memphis come out with a new athlete every year. You know what I mean? We got to stop doubting these Memphis kids, you know. You can take Calvin Austin's report, copy and paste it, and erase kick return stuff, and you'll have Wan'Dale Robinson. So we ain't talking about him. And we're not going to talk about Justin Ross too long. My basic thoughts on him was when Trevor Lawrence was throwing him the football, he was a beast. When Trevor Lawrence left, he wasn't a beast anymore. So my overall trusting of Justin Ross is if you get him a quarterback that can get the ball to him, he'll be fine. But that's all these guys. Jalen Tolbert, small school guy, South Alabama. Interesting player. You're not gonna love the competition that he plays against. You're not gonna love, you know, him running past these non-pro guys. But I see a lot of Chris Godwin in him. You know what I mean? He's just one of them dudes that's good. He has all these good traits, but he doesn't have like one trait that's just like really, really good. He's just a super balanced player. And when you see him make plays, he makes plays. But Chris Godwin was also like that. You know, kind of a jump ball guy. Can do 50-50 stuff, can do yak things, can do deep, can do short. Solid hands. I like Jalen Tolbert, man. I like Jalen Tolbert. And that's my list. If y'all disagree with anything on my list, I know the phones is lit last time I saw. Yeah, we at 10:50. Yeah, hey, look, I'm gonna give y'all one call to call in. After that, I'm locking the phones because it's 3:50. 48. If y'all disagree with anything that I said in my list, you can feel free to call into the show. We'll put the number on the screen for y'all, and yeah, and please be in the comments. I will be reading the comments while we get guys talking. Talking on the phone there. Let's get DJ on the line first, and when I'm done with DJ's call, we're gonna lock the phone. So if you want to get in on the phones, get in on them now. Let's go. DJ, what up?
Hey, what's up, Wes? How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, chilling, my guy. What you got for the show?
Man, I was just listening and everything like that. I think it's a solid list. I was surprised at where you had Calvin Austin. Just a little bit. I expected him higher. Okay. Now, going through the list and hearing what your reasoning was for each one, I don't fault you, right? But at the same time, I don't know. Like, I value slot receiver higher than your average talent.
Sure.
You know, I would take a purely slot receiver if that's what I needed. If I had my X and my Y, my X and my Y set, then I would purely slot wide receiver. I'd take him in the top 15. I would, if that's what if the talent was there and it was the right guy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, so I see the value because you can have the 85 receptions, the 90 receptions, and all that kind of stuff, and the guys outside are getting the bulk of the coverage. So it's depending on how somebody's playing you. I value slot receiver higher. So like the guys of Jahan Dotson and Calvin Austin, I'd probably have a little higher, but overall I feel like this is pretty solid.
For sure. Appreciate you, man. Great call, DJ. We got a little nonsense in my chat box. Let me see what's going on, man. First of all, we got 224 concurrent viewers on the Voch Lombardi channel. Would y'all please go to the volume on YouTube and at 3 p.m. Central on Monday through Friday. We'll be going live over there exclusively starting in May. So I know y'all in the house now, but when May comes around, move over. Danny Savage says, Voch, all respects, but wide receiver ain't your specialty. Well, Voch ain't got a specialty. I feel like Voch does all things. I may be better at some positions than others, but I do all things at a at a respectable level. You know what I'm saying? So let's not do that, man. You know what I mean? When y'all was out here talking about Justin Jefferson, you know, Voch was like, hey man, believe in Justin Jefferson. You know what I'm saying? So like just, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? When y'all was running around talking about some Henry Ruggs, man, Voch was on the lamb train. You know what I'm saying? So I just want you to relax, sir. I want you to relax. I told y'all don't worry about Jamar Chase and Devontae. You know what I mean? I told y'all don't worry about them dudes, man. Just relax, dog. Hey, relax, bro.
He got this. Now the Calvin Austin thing. I'm curious. Did he say he would take that guy in the top 15? That type of guy?
I felt like he said that if there was a slot receiver that he liked, he'll take him top 15. I don't think he was talking specifically about Calvin.
I wonder how much. I wonder how much higher he would go on Calvin. Like no offense, but the data is there, man. 5 foot 800 and something nothing pound wide receivers. They just don't, get that kind of target share and that kind of, input in an offense. Now, don't say, "Oh, Tyreek Hill." Well, Tyreek Hill was 5'10", $190, and he's rocked up. It's a little bit different.
Sure. Yeah, and with this draft in particular, man, it's hard to move up spots because there's so many guys that can play. There's so many guys that can play, man. Also, too, Danny Savage. Let me not just like beat up on you and run. Like, what would you do different with my mock? I don't just want somebody to be like, oh well, Voch, this ain't it. Tell me why it's not it and give me an opportunity to retort to what you're saying. You see what I'm saying? Tell me if you like, if some of y'all like David Bell from Purdue. I don't like slow receivers, so he's not gonna be on my list. Some of y'all like Alec Pierce from Cincinnati. He's a guy that could probably win jump balls for you. Like that seems to be his role. But when we're talking about personal lists, and look, he may be a good player in the league. Like this list could be like if this was a top 20 list, Pierce would probably be on there. But I'm talking about if I'm offense coordinator, you know what I'm saying? I can boogie with with Jalen Tolbert a little more over Alec Pierce. I don't know. That's just my own personal opinion. Bo Melton, same thing. Alec Pierce. Look, I'm calling out the people that you would name, and all this is really because look, to be fair, what's his face, Danny Savage. You probably only disagree with like the back end of my list. Like you probably don't care about the top 12 or so. You know what I'm saying? But 13, but when we get to the back end, we can all disagree and have, whoever your 13, 14, 15 player is, whatever that is, like, enjoy that part of your list. But nah, Bo Melton, Bo Melton, hey, cool. Y'all can have your fan favorites. You can have your pet cats, but top 15, I think it's I don't think that's a list for Bo Melton. He's a good player, but I don't think that's the list. Will Still, it be these. Look, this what I hate the most. Will Still, this what I hate the most. And I'm getting back to the phone, and we're gonna run through the phone because it's 3:50. Listen, when I make a mistake, it's not even make a mistake. When I have an opinion, it's easy to find Voch. It's easy to find Voch, Will Still. But when it comes to the Voch, you crazy for not liking Paris Ford. Where they go? Where y'all go? Don't nobody knock on my door.
It'd be like that.
And be like, yo, Voch, man, I was wrong about Paris Ford, dog. My bad.
It'd be like that. Hey, real quick, because it's Sip to Tally Films. I was thinking about this guy. He says, Taquan Thornton. What's your thoughts on him? Because I took him in a mock draft way late in the draft because I like the speed, and we just need some of that, the length and the speed. But what's your thoughts on Thornton?
Baylor, fun player. So, and he's similar to these other players. These get the ball to him, let him be fast and explosive guys. Coach Evans like blockers, so I'm sure that some of that went into it too. But like I said, man, once you get to the back end of your list, you can really mix and match and put whoever you want to in there. You know what I'm saying? So hey, it's what it is, man. I ain't knocking nobody list or whatever. We ain't finna just put Bo Melton in there because you like him.
I do like what you said earlier, though. It will depend on where these receivers go. Because one player might be more talented than the other, but if they go play with A-Rod and the other go play with I don't know, whomever, the cat in Seattle now, they're not going to be able to have the same output. So like that.
If Bo Melton goes to one of these high-powered offenses or whatever, and you look at Voch, I told you about Bo Melton, that don't count. that is not a told you so. Get over yourself. Yo, chat, it's 3:55. Hold on.
The conference has been locked.
4, 5. It's 3:55 and it's 5 of y'all. Don't hold us too long. I love y'all, okay? I love y'all. Don't hold us too long. We got John Q up next, Shaq on deck, Los in the hole. Let's boogie. John, what up? John, do something. When people get sick, they get help. Sick, help.
Dashboard.
Sick, help. What up, John Q?
That's awesome, man. That's awesome, dude. You need to get a tell. You need a new intro, man.
No,
you need to have.
I got it. Trust
Will
me.
still hit you with the allow me to reintroduce
Nope.
myself.
Nope. I got it in my mind already, man. And look, I don't want Will in charge of my sound drops because he might sabotage me. You know what I'm saying? Play some
Come on,
bullshit.
bro.
I'll be in charge of my own sound drops. I got this.
That's fair.
It's
That's
your
fair.
boy.
Well, hey, man, long time no talk. I hope everything is going good.
Sure.
I've been listening to you guys. You guys always put on a good show. Receivers, though, man, like, you know, I always just find this interesting. You know, it's so crazy how we can just write people off so quick based on, small school or based on, like, you know what, this guy's not 6 foot. He's not 200 pounds. He did not run a great 40, right? It's just interesting to me because, I do it too. I mean, I can't help it. You see these big guys, they run so fast, they're strong, they're from big school. You're like, okay, cool. I'm going to get him in the first, second round maybe. But then you have like the weird guy from like, Western Michigan who ran a 4.56, who was 5'10", and he's, drafted 6th round, and, he turns out to be Antonio Brown before he went crazy.
Sure.
Like,
Before he went crazy.
it's just interesting to me because some of these guys that were, immediately saying, he's, 13, 14, 15 on my list could be projected to be, really polished later on. Could
Sure.
be very good route runners.
Yeah.
Could be exactly, what you're looking for in a number one receiver, right?
Yep. Yep. Hey, fair enough. Great points, man. I love what you're saying, John Q. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for the call. And I think something else too that we gotta understand about list making with this set of people anyway is it's really a flavor of ice cream.
Yeah.
It's not like you're not looking for the number one guy who does all things. Like everybody on this list does something different. Everybody does something a little bit different.
And what you can't really measure by just the tape you watch is the heart, right? And the work ethic. Because as crazy as Antonio Brown was, Antonio Brown needed to develop in the league, right? So he had to keep working at it, and he was crazy about being the best. We don't know what 15, 16 on your list. What if he wants to be the best and he works that way and his talent catches up to that? Now he's 5 or 6 when he's in the league. So that's just things we don't know. All you can do is go off of what you see on your film, Voch.
Danny Savage says, don't need great speed to play in the NFL 10 years. I feel you. That's 100%. But boy, for every Nuke Hopkins, it's 20 De'Rania Wilsons that ain't fast enough to play in the league. You know what I'm saying? So I feel what you're saying. You ain't got to be fast, but I'm talking about generally. There are exceptions. Oh, Voch, short arm tackle. What about Joe Thomas? Sure, Joe Thomas exists, but most short arm tackles get their ass stab, long arm swim to death. So but I feel this ain't me saying you wrong. You might be right about David Bell. I like David Bell, but this is my top 15. So. I like speed. I like route running, and David Bell don't even run routes to me like that. He ain't that nice of a route runner to be slow like that. So I don't know. Who I said? Shaq. We got Shaq, the Vikings fan. Los left. So Shaq, Jared, and Joe. Then we're gonna go to the chat. What up, Shaq?
How's it going, Coach Voch?
Chilling, player, just holding it down on the volume.
Skywalker?
What's up, brother?
So I had to agree with you on the Stephen Jones talk. It just seems to me like when GMs during the off season, they like to talk in circles to, I guess, throw the media off.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we all could do that. If we was to be in the GM chair and we know what player, if we get all the film and we know what player we want,
mm-hmm.
we're not going to say to the national media, oh, yeah, sure, let's trade up for Derek Stingley, or let's trade up for, I'll say, Garrett Wilson. Sure. Because then teams are going to ask for another first, or they're going to ask for more to get that player.
Sure. Fair enough.
As far as your wide receiver list, I'll say George Pickens. That guy, if he has a quarterback, I feel like he could be top 3 in this class.
Yeah.
Might be number 1.
Maybe that motherfucker can play, man. I just ain't seen it. I just ain't seen much from him, but he can play, man.
I'm saying, like, because he does, like, I guess some receivers, they got that, like, even if they're not open, if you give them a chance to catch the ball, there's some receivers that'll catch, just throw them the ball, and they'll get the ball. I know Drake London, he uses his body to get open, but he doesn't really do it like Mike Evans. So I can't really see him being a top receiver in this class.
Sure. Fair enough. Appreciate you, Shaq. Great call, man.
All right, take care, Vaughn. I don't want to take too much of your time. Man, I know you're trying to go. Man, enjoy the rest of your day.
Man, you good, man. Don't you worry about it, Shaq. And go ahead and get you up out of here, man. Appreciate you. Cooper Cup ran a 4.62. Sure. But for every Cooper Cup, man.
What was his short shuttle and all that stuff? Because he's not run by you type of guy. He's route you up. That's a bit different.
He's route you up. Yeah. Cool. So quickness does matter,
right?
You know?
Right.
And I think that's the difference between like a Henry Ruggs and a Jalen Waddle. You know what I mean? Like Henry Ruggs runs straight. Waddle runs straight fast too, but he's a sideways quick guy also, which is different. So I value sideways quick guys a little more than just straight, vertical guy. I forgot who I said. We're gonna go Jared, then Joe, then we're gonna go to the chat. What's up, Jared? Quickly.
What's up, man?
Hey, chilling, dog. What you got for the show?
All right. I was looking at your list, and I just had a thought about, and the wide receivers specifically make me think of this. This draft, this 2022 draft, is pretty unique because it's exceptionally deep without your top dogs that you usually have. And so that makes me think, like, as a Cowboys fan, that we probably shouldn't be looking at the first round receivers unless, the first round offensive linemen are off, in my opinion, because you can hit on a guy in the second. Heck, Khalil Shakir, Calvin Austin, those kind of guys, Jalen Tolbert, they might fall to the third. And I think I feel great about those guys as a third wide receiver behind Lamb and Gallup.
Sure.
What are your thoughts?
Sure. And that's where I think the Cowboys have the advantage here is that we are drafting receiver, but we're not like another team that needs with a capital N needs receiver. You know what I mean? Like we have a Lamb that we feel good about and a Gallup that we feel good about. We just need whoever our third person to be competent. Can you come in and be better than Cedric Wilson was last year? That's the big fight. That's the big thing. And if you can be. And look, man, Cedric Wilson was we talking about David Bell or whatever, just not being top 15. Cedric Wilson was a 5th round pick that worked his way into being a competent player. You know what I mean? So any player can end up working out for you. But I like the fact that we have two guys that are like solidified. They may not be solidified in September, but they'll be solidified when we need them to be. So we can take any one of these guys and you can really afford to be patient and wait to the third round if that's what the cards give you. So I agree.
Yeah, and you got Stephen Jones saying they're going to trade up and all this, but like really with the depth of the talent, if you're going to trade anywhere, you should be trading down if you're the Cowboys. I feel like because what you need is the most, in my opinion, the most top 100 picks you can get.
Fair enough, Jared. Fantastic call, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
Appreciate you. Shaq in the chat box says this is a perfect draft to need wide receiver. Yep, because all the best guys they may fall to you. Like it's not like a top dog type of deal. It's more so of a we like this. Well, still, can you put that top 15 up on the board while we go to Brother Joe Sandberg? He'll be the last call for the day. Just want to give everybody a quick little visual just in case you came into class late. We'll go ahead and put that up there for you. Brother Joe, what's up?
Hey, what's up?
Chilling, brother. What you got for the show?
So I saw that you had like Mechie as a top 10 guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I like him probably a little bit more than most people probably have him a little bit higher, but just minor tweaks because I do like his game a lot.
Sure. I think what happened with Mechie. I think a lot of fans kind of hinge on to what their favorite content creators say or whatnot. And Dane Brugler came out and said something early in the process. As soon as he said it, I kind of saw people be a little low on Mechie. He was like, I don't want a receiver that has more drops than touchdown catches. my retort to that is just get him the ball more. He'll have more touchdown catches and drops. You see what I'm saying? Like that's an easy fix. Like that one quote is enough to take a fan off of a player because all fans don't watch film. But you didn't really address John. You didn't. I said John. You didn't really address John Mechie and what he does and his deficiencies and things of that nature. I think the league is about route running and like yak now. If you can do more, cool. But John Mechie can run routes and he's a yak. I've seen plenty of times he'll take a small just a little slant, a hitch, a little screen or something. He'll turn it into something bigger simply because he just has a feel for movement. He just has a feel for incoming tackles, just small slips and bobs and weaves, man. I love yak guys, man. CeeDee Lamb made me more of a fan of a yak guy. CeeDee Lamb is special because he could do wide receiver things on top of being yak guys. But I think, Debo Samuel sat so that guys like CeeDee Lamb can run so that these other yak guys can fly. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead, Joe.
Oh, absolutely. And the one thing that's not being talked about, which should be, is when Alabama needed a big time catch. Bryce Young was throwing it to Mechie for the most part when he wasn't injured.
You goddamn right he was. Go ahead. Also too, on that point too, John, I'm gonna let you go. Mechie made a lot of his biggest catches when he was playing slot because all these other gangsters was around him. You know what I mean? Because all the other big dog Bama wide receivers was around him. Because look, like when Waddle wasn't the guy, we saw Waddle be highlighted. When Devontae Smith was like the third or fourth option, that's when he was highlighted. When Mechie was the third or fourth or so option, that's when we saw him be highlighted, right? That's what the fuck he gonna do in Dallas. So let him be the third and fourth option in Dallas, and we'll see him make big plays like that. So if Mechie's a guy you can get in the fourth, just because the fourth round is where injury guys go. My goodness, we'll have us a little party. Appreciate you, brother Joe Sandberg. Man. Great show today. Chat, give yourself a hand. Everybody listening. So we got 245 concurrent viewers on the Voch Lombardi side. Please don't forget when May comes around, we'll be doing these shows, these live streams exclusively on the volume. So enjoy the Voch Lombardi house. Now we're not leaving the Voch Lombardi house. We just got two houses now. We just do one thing at one house and another thing another thing at another house. So y'all be sure to be tuned in for that. Now, chat, it is your time. If you didn't get a chance to call into the show, both chat boxes will be looking at them. If you just talked up your anytime minutes, anytime if you was in a loud place, you didn't want the phones to be heard at this damn fight club that you in. It's all good, man. We're here for the chat box right now, so you can communicate with the show quietly. With that being said, chat, we got 2 cycles of my favorite talking song, and let's boogie. Will Still has been amazing for us on the volume here. Can we just please put flames in the chat for Will Still? Can we put flames in the chat for everybody behind the scenes at the volume, man? They've made life beautiful. Let me get y'all the war call. They actually watch right now. Brumley, Paul.
I was about to say salute to Brum, salute to Paul, man.
That's for y'all, man. Appreciate you. Y'all are making this process fantastic. Let's do this.
Got one for you.
Go ahead, sir.
Drake Holiday says most Cowboys fans are sleeping on James Washington a little bit. Pittsburgh's passing game's been sloppy over the last few years.
Did you call him Halliday?
Yeah, Drake Holiday.
Not like Holiday, but like Halliday is what you called him?
That might have slipped up.
That's cool ass Drake, by the way.
I'll be messing up volume. I'll be like volume.
That's a drug.
Exactly.
So cool ass Drake, appreciate you. Shit, what did he say? He was
talking about James Washington.
Yeah. If you go back and watch the film, in which we did on my channel over on the Voch Lombardi channel, go check it out, the James Washington film session. When Ben was throwing the ball well, James was playing some good football. But Ben started to suck. Mason Rudolph started to play. Ben came back and got old. Like that's when the numbers really started to fall for James. I think James is gonna be a good player.
I do too. I think he has a higher ceiling than Seth Wilson did.
For sure, 100%. They changed it. There's a video of Dotson contending for Rookie of the Year guaranteed. Jahan Dotson, depending on what team you go to. If you go to Green Bay, possibly. You go to Kansas City, possibly.
I can probably answer this one for you. JoJo says, is your receiver list ranked on who fits Dak best or pure talent? I think it's just pure talent. This is overall. Voch don't do just Cowboy when it comes to the draft.
And I be wanting to get on to my volume people, you know what I mean? Because they want to put me in this cowboy box right now, this time of year. I belong to the streets, man. this time of year. Now when Cowboy season come around, we can put Cowboys, Dak Prescott, we can put the big code words and all the titles in the regular season. But in draft season, I belong to all 32 teams in draft season. So when I make my top 50 board, my player rankings, they're not Cowboy particular. They're just who I think the better player is.
Yeah.
A lot of these motherfuckers, they not even gonna make it to Dallas. So I could have did less work. Honestly.
True.
Did you play South Panola in football? No. South Panola was on the opposite side of the Mississippi bracket. We was on the other. They went undefeated like 6 years in a row. We ain't never play them. We played teams like Meridian and Oak Grove. Brett Favre was offensive coordinating. Steve McNair Jr. was playing at that time. I don't know if y'all know Tyler Russell, but he was a Mississippi State quarterback before Dak was there. He went to Meridian, kind of like Tiger Woods. I kind of played in that era, in that pocket of Mississippi football. Great question though. Yep, David Bell needs an Aaron Rodgers to be a great receiver. He needs a type quarterback to be that good. I agree. I like David Bell, man, but I just like fast receivers, bro. I prefer fast receivers, and I don't consider a 4.5 like terribly slow, but you got to be at least game fast, and I don't even think he game fast. So, like at least you can look at like DeAndre Hopkins, CeeDee Lamb, right? They run 4.5s, but they game fast,
right?
You know what I'm saying? David Bell ain't game fast, and if he game slow in college. All right.
Professor O wants to know about Sky Moore. He said, you view him as a slot only guy. What makes him slot only as compared to like Steve Smith, Steve Smith or Deshaun Jackson? Got the similar builds.
I think Sky takes advantage of the two-way go better. You know what I mean? Because if you're like a boundary receiver, like you're the flanker guy, sidelines to your left, then you're really working from sideline to the sideline inside.
Yeah.
And the same with the other guy. Sky Moore, I really love what he does with his route running and his movement to where he creates space with those two-way goals. I just think he's just a lot more dangerous that way. Steve Smith was a smaller guy, but Steve Smith played
way bigger,
like a big dude. You know what I'm saying? Like he played bigger than what he was. Sky Moore plays big in the yak game, but I don't think he plays big in the pre-catch game. I think he plays smart, tactical, and surgically in the pre-catch game, as opposed to Steve. He was more of a bully in his setups and his stems and things of that nature. But
that's fair because what I hear and see around Sky is that he needs to work on those intermediate levels of his game and the deep level of his game. But he's played outside. He's literally played out there. But that doesn't mean that's where he was going to progress in the NFL.
Sure. Ray says, are we going to be playing Elden Ring with Voch Lombardi at twitch.tv/Voch Lombardi tonight? Yeah, Ray. Most likely. Not time for sure. I got to film a soliloquy and send it to send it to my peoples and all that. Okoye Media going to be on the volume next week, so be tuned in for that. But yeah, we'll play a little bit of Twitch tonight. Twitch.tv/Voch Lombardi.
I see Ronnie say this a couple times, and I don't quite understand it. He says he's having a hard time ranking Jamison Williams up there, or Williams up there, because he had to transfer because he couldn't beat out Garrett or Olave. My guy, you know how many great quarterbacks transferred, or good quarterbacks transferred, or good players transferred to get playing time?
Joe Burrow couldn't beat Dwayne Haskins. R.I.P. to Dwayne Haskins, bro. But Joe Burrow had to leave. You know what I mean? Justin Fields was a guy that had to lead. Like they just train like, and it ain't even about who's the best player all the time. Sometimes it might be a politic thing. Like Spencer Rattler was the guy at Oklahoma, but like if Caleb just showing up being who Caleb is, I mean, you can only sit around so long. So, yeah, guys got to move. Guys got to leave sometimes. You know, it's part of the game. It's part of the game. I'm gonna answer one more, and we gonna get up out of here. Joe Burrow is terrible. He transferred. Oh wait,
he's
Cam Newton. Cam Newton was the first one to really get into that transfer portal, and just he wasn't the first, but he was one of like the more famous cases of I got in trouble, and I'm gonna use this junior college thing to revamp who I am, and then going to be a first overall pick. Yeah, Cam definitely took advantage of that. Would you take Jordan Davis or Olave? Jordan Davis. Ayo, chat. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. My top 50 board will be out soon. When we get it, you will also. Mock draft version 1 point only will be on the way. As soon as I get it, you will too. We appreciate you for tuning in on the volume here, the Voch Lombardi live show. Fantastic, man. We just on our way. And y'all ain't even seen KO Ken yet, bro. We got 236 people watching live. Hey, be comfortable over there. I love y'all to pieces, but when we get to May, we're going to be doing everything exclusively on the volume. Our live streams exclusively on the volume. We'll be doing other things with the Voch Lombardi channel. So it's not like I'm moving to a new house. It's just that I live in the frat house sometime, which is the volume, the co-ed frat sorority house, and I live in the Voch Lombardi house also. So be sure to be subscribed to both. But at 3 p.m. Central on Monday through Friday, we do work here on the volume, do live work and whatever I'm doing, soliloquies or whatever on the volume. So be sure you tune in. We'll be doing a draft show day 1 to, pardon me, I will be doing it. Will not be. But Voch Lombardi will be doing a draft show for day 1, 2, and 3 of the draft. Day 1 is going to be hard hitting analysis. Day 2, much of the same. Day 3 is going to be more so of a chill react stream. But we are going to be watching day 3. We might even cut day 3 short because I ain't trying to.
Alex, good question there. You going to stream games on here or your channel?
Am I going to stream like games?
You were doing the game streams last year.
Oh, okay. The watch alongs. Yeah, sure. You know, we're gonna do watch alongs on the volume also. So be sure to tune in for that. I got to talk to my connect that connects me to the Illuminati people. Shouts out to Jack Rose. Jack Rose is my guy also. Russell Wilson transferred. Thank you. Jack Rose is my guy. We gotta talk. My bad. We got to talk about the particulars of everything, but we should be doing
banana cream pie.
I was reading. I'm doing a show with.
I know. I do that too, bro. I do that too.
If you don't mind, sir. Follow me on Twitter, VOCHLOMBARDI. And twitch.tv/Voch Lombardi. We'll be playing Elden Ring tonight. This ain't me blurting something random. Shaq dropped a dime in the super chat. It says, Voch, tell them to stop playing with your name. You had CD and Justin Jefferson over Judy for sure. But you know, if I brag on me, I'm being, you know, grandiose and braggadocious. I want to let y'all brag on my work. It is what it is. Appreciate you. Will Steele, where can they find you, sir?
You can follow me on Twitter at Skywalker Steele, and every morning 8:15-ish, A to Z Sports Dallas talking about these Cowboys.
Hey man, appreciate y'all to death. We will fix that. Don't worry about it. Hey, y'all hold down for the Dosey Woski and Peace Whiskey, man. Love y'all to peace. Had a great show. Till next time. Volume.
Beats Planet.